A recent reunion of radio icons gathered at Morty's Comedy Joint, and the joint was jumping. A packed house of fans eager to see and hear the entertainers they love to listen to on the Bob and Tom radio show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick and Sonny Love.
News director and on-air cohort Christy Lee also was broadcasting this event for her podcast. One of the main players traveled to Indy from his home in South Carolina to join this gregarious group.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Mark, what was your first character on Bob and Tom?
Wow. Yeah, what was it?
It may have been when Jimmy Irsay was in the studio and the Colts had first gotten here.
Hoosier native Mark Patrick was a staple of Indianapolis radio and TV from 1989 through 2004. Besides Bob and Tom, some of his gigs included being host of the popular Hoosier Lottery Show, Mark Patrick on sports on WNDE, and of course, sports director from 1990 to 99 on Wish TV.
How does Coach Larry Bird sound?
That sources close to the Simon family told Sports 8 that Larry Bird has indicated he will become the next coach of the Indiana Pacers.
Yep, he's still popular in his hometown. Why?
I think that for the 90s are in right now, and the Bob and Tom show obviously still big today, but it was very big in the 90s too, so that's when I was more of a major player in it, and I was there for 17 years. And so just like Roy Moore, you got to keep it under 18.
Okay. What have you been doing since you left Indianapolis?
We moved to South Carolina 3 years ago. And I play a lot of golf. I do a lot of things around the house. I bought a house that needed some updating, so we did that. And I adore my grandkids. I have 3 now.
The only grandkids in the world.
They're the world's only grandchildren.
Yes, that's on your Facebook page. I see that.
Some
They're
people
very
think
cute.
that some other ones exist, Patty, but quite frankly, no, there are just my 3.
And they know that because you've told them that.
That's right.
That's good. That's good. You're very handy too. I see on Facebook you redid your basement and you're woodworking, and so you're not just a mouth. You also have talent at hand.
Before I was able to get jobs in radio and TV, I had to actually work for a living. So I
didn't know that.
Yeah. So I kind of when I was in college, going through college, and high school, and so I kind of watched the guys that actually knew how to do things like that and tried to learn, and I'm not afraid to try anything, you know that.
Well, that's true. That leads me into this. The time you were on the air, and people, I'll flatter you, people still know who you are. People still remember all the things you did. What was the key to your success, do you think? What made you stand out at Wish TV in sports?
I think the first thing that happened is that when I started anchoring, Mike and Debbie went, okay.
Debbie, you make the call, remember?
Yeah, because if they hadn't played along, I would have really disappeared quickly.
Mark Patrick has sports for us coming up. Nice tie, first of all. Great tie today. Mm-hmm. One of the best he's...
Well, thanks, Mike. This is one of my mom's old tablecloths.
Since you can't actually see your audience, I tried to make them the audience, the people running camera the audience, the people in the control room the audience. So I was kind of getting feedback as to what was happening. So I was kind of just talking to you guys.
Yeah.
And they played along.
The franchise, Mike.
The franchise.
You gave him that title. It's stuck.
Here's Ahern leaving the Channel 8 Christmas party. He just hates it when there's a line at the bank drive-through.
It was just, it was fun. And so I think because we were having fun, the people watching had fun. And I think, too, because all of us were so Indiana. I mean, we were all Hoosiers. And I think people that watched that knew that. We had a lot of relatable things to them. Mm-hmm. I'd been to the world's largest Dairy Queen in Westfield. I wasn't just talking about it. I knew it was there.
Mark was also known for his cutting-edge wit and his outlandish impersonations on radio, and also his bizarre creations on TV.
Why are you calling me?
Well, the Vice President and I wanted to call you and congratulate you on one of the most spectacular sports shows in our history.
Dirk Lamech was very popular. Where did you come up with that? Remember when Jay Leno stole Dirk Lamech?
Yeah, I do.
I couldn't believe it, and he didn't give you credit for it. That was your character.
It was funny. we had very talented people who ran the switcher. And so when we got a new switcher one time, it had a lot of effects that they could never use, but one of which they could make your head really large. They could superimpose somebody else's head. I remember one time they put a bald head on me, and I look at the monitor and I'm like, oh my God, there's my dad. And it was really scary. But they were, they would always kind of do this one, and different ones, like with the big head. And then they did the big neck, the big chin and neck. And I said, make a still of that. I want to look at that. So they made a still of that and gave me the tape, and I was looking at it. I'm like, I think I can do something with it. So I was like, can you do that and I can talk? And they're like, well, yeah. So it's like, that's what we did. So I kind of gave him the affected voice and the sunglasses. And
It was great.
just kind of a real bombastic sportscasting guy, and he, Dirk essentially did all the stuff I really wanted to do.
At the Hoosier Dome. Oh, must have tripped over Mark Patrick's ego. Ah!
Favorite memories?
No, the greatest thing, without a doubt, was when you were anchoring. You throw it to the sports. I start doing the sports thing, and then you were going to get replaced by Debbie.
Yeah. Oh,
for
that's
this,
right. We're
for the
changing.
6 o'clock, which meant you had to leave the set. So you always went that way, exit stage left. Instead, I don't know what happened, but you just lost your head, and so you walk. I feel you. I'm talking, doing the sports, and it looks like the Pacers are going to be in action tonight, and all of a sudden I'm feeling you behind me, and I'm like, in my head, I'm still saying, Pacers and the Bucks tonight.
What do you think about Atlanta?
They're nice. I like their.
I give them a 3.
And I'm like, she's got to be on. And I look at the monitor, and and then all of a sudden, when I looked at the monitor, you realized what you'd done, and you froze like some goofball behind us in a live shot.
Dear him. It was
priceless.
I know.
Patty, can I help you?
Up. And don't forget about those. Here. Up those people. Here, up
Do you miss it?
No.
No.
Not in the least. No.
No.
I mean, I really don't miss the hours, I think.
Oh.
And television, as you know, is so much sitting around. You spend a lot of time prepping, and then you would have things where there's a lot of other people that have your life in your hands. You know?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can be totally prepared, maybe have a great script, and newest person in the building's running the teleprompter, and they fall asleep, and you're going, eh.
Well, it's a pleasure to see you. I miss you on TV. I know a lot of people do. That must make you feel good, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice when people say things, and you get surprised once in a while. I mean, I was at a Marshall's in Greenville, South Carolina a couple of weeks ago, and this girl's like, "You used to be on TV." I'm like, "Yeah."
Well, see, if you dye your hair, you look just the same. It's just the hair. I hear they make hair dye,
I'm never going to dye. I'm just glad I got it. I don't care what color it is. I'm not going to be one of those guys.
I know. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Love you, Patty.
Thank you. Well, now he has lipstick on him. Thank you.